All right, guys, so let's be honest here. You would think that with Ford being the last kind of American muscle car company, that everyone would be buying a Mustang right now, right? Dodge is no longer selling a Hemi. There's no more Challenger. The Charger basically isn't a Charger anymore. It's literally just a Charger, like you plug it into the wall and charge it up. Chevy has the C8, but that's more of a sports car, not a muscle car. The Camaro is pretty much dead. So you would think everybody will be flocking to the Mustang because Mustang has the only big V8, naturally aspirated, supercharged, whatever you want, right? That's not the case. In fact, Ford is struggling right now when it comes to the Mustang. In January of 2024, Ford sold 3,771 Mustangs. In January of 2025, just a year later, they've only sold 2,399. That's a 36.4% drop. And in February, it was the same thing compared to February of last year, 34% drop. And they all have one thing in common. Why are people not buying Ford Mustangs? The same reason that people stopped buying the Charger and Challenger in 2023. The price. They're too expensive. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Knockout 360 here with another video, man. So you can tell I'm in the house that makes us a house vlog. You know what's going down. When I come around, let's get into it. Car content, car shows, car reviews, car meets, anything and everything car related happens on this channel. So if you're into that, make sure that you stick around. For everyone else, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you know what's coming out and when it's coming out. So let me get you guys in focus here. What do you see here? Ford Mustang sales are dropping. That's right, they're dropping. In all the videos that I made, I almost made it seem like because Dodge no longer has the Hemi, no longer has the Challenger, no longer has the Hellcat, the Scat Pack, because Chevy really no longer has the Camaro's dead. The C8 is a sports car. Not everybody wants a sports car. Not everybody can fit in a sports car. Let's just be real. Ford would be the only option. Like everybody and their mama would flock to Ford. Like Ford would dominate for the next like 2.5, 3 years because there's literally no competition. That's not the case. As the last American muscle car, some would assume that the Ford Mustang sales would be doing fine or great even. However, that is not the reality. The iconic pony car is struggling as shoppers seem to be passing it over for other options entirely. So let's look at the numbers here. Ford Mustang in 2025, the company has only sold 2,399 Mustangs for that particular month versus the same month last year where they sold 3,771. That's a 36% drop in sales. We're talking about the same Mustang here for the most part. You know what I mean? 36% sales drop from year to date. You know, February of 2025 wasn't much better. They only sold 2,792. In February of 2024, they sold 4,115. That's a 32% drop. So overall, Mustang sales are down versus last year. But even in 2024, they were down versus 2023. Ford has said that the sales were down 43%, 43.4% for the quarter and 9.5% for the entire year. 43% drop. And why is that? The price. The price. A base MSRP for a 2025 Ford Mustang GT Fastback is a whopping $45,460. For anyone arguing that that isn't a lot, the base MSRP for a 2025 Mustang GT, we're talking about the same Mustang in 2015, was $32,000. So somehow or another, Ford has found a way to tack on an extra $13,000 in price, which sounds like who? Sounds like our company, right? Dodge. When the Hellcat first came out in 2015, it was, what, $72,000 if I'm not mistaken? Let's check it. 2015 Dodge Charger Hellcat price. Yeah, boom. MSRP, take that back. MSRP at $64,990. And then, of course, once you option it out however you want, that's probably going to be 72 and some change. $64,990. Let's look at a Hellcat in 2023 MSRP. Boom. $82,670. You know what I mean? Now, what are we getting more in 2023 that we wasn't getting in 2015? We got fender flares, bigger tires, bigger rims, a bigger supercharger. All of that for almost $20,000? Chill. Ford is following in the same steps, man. You know what I'm saying? From 2015, and this is interesting, from 2015, the Mustang GT had an MSRP at $32,900, which was beautiful. That was lovely. No wonder all I saw was Mustang GTs back then. And then now they want $45,460. And you know, like I know, that's before you option out leather seats, sunroof, Sirius XM, navigation. You want the black rims. You want the 18s or the 20s. You want the Brembos, right? You want the red ones, right? Of course you do. Before you know it, you're paying $50,000, $52,000 for a GT. Like, let's look at it right now. Boom, 2024 Ford Mustang GT in my city, right? Rutherford, Salisbury, Charlotte, Rock Hill. That's the dark horse. We're not even going to talk about that one yet. Just the GT, they want $41,500. That one's used. Brand new, they want $45,800 for it. MSRP was $51,000, so they may have come down on that one. This one's used, they still want $45,000. This one's brand new, they want $44,300. 46, 46, 49, 45. Hold on, let's look at the 25s. Okay, now we talking. Brand new 2025, 45. GT 51. That's the dark horse. We'll talk about that in a minute. 48, 55, 45, 60. You know what I'm saying? So I'm seeing as low as 45 and as high as 60. Ford and Hickory, they want 73 for the GT. That's got to be the dark horse. And the GT is only going to give you what? 485, 480 horsepower or something like that. And then let's look at the dark horse. So the dark horse is the kind of like the Scat Pack, right? Do they even have any dark horses for sale? All right, boom. Now we're talking. 2025 dark horse, 72, 75, 72. That's the GT. 71, 72, 73, 77, 60. Okay, 66. Oh, that's not, okay, respectable. Ford Mustang, that's got to be a GT. So I'm seeing anything from as low as 66 all the way up to what, 75 for a dark horse. Now, you know the dark horse is going to give you 500 horsepower right on the nose, if I'm not mistaken, right? So you're paying $70,000+, 75,000 for a 500 horsepower Ford Mustang. Maybe that's not enough. You want the Hellcat of Mustangs. How much are you going to pay? So this is the 2025 Shelby GT 350. This is the 350 that everybody's been buying in the past, right? You see them all the time. They want 109 for it. They haven't even started building the 350s yet, but they're going to want 109 for it. Was there a 2024 350? I don't think so. No, there wasn't. I think they just brought that back in 25. So they want 109 for it. Let's look at a 2015 Ford Mustang GT. Stop. That's cap. That's got to be cap. All right, so boom, GT 350 MSRP was $47,700. With the options and all that stuff, you might walk out at $59,140. 59,140. So from 59,140 in 2015, I don't know why this is saying 72. Let's assume 72. Let's assume 72 in 2015 for GT 350. From 72 to 109 in 2015 in 2025. Let's look at some more statistics here. Mustang is no longer a big seller for Ford. In the first 2 months of 2024, the company only moved 7,800 units. 5,000 units, 34% decrease from 23 sales of the. So what is selling, believe it or not, for the Mustang, for Ford, is that all-electric Mustang Mach-E is currently outselling it. Ford has moved 6,841 of those crossovers so far in 2025. But this year, that number is down to 5,191. So 5,191 for the gas-powered Mustangs and 6,841 for the crossover hybrids. There's a litany of reasons. The most obvious is cost. The base cost for EcoBoost Coupe is $33,000. EcoBoost Coupe starts at $33,515 with the destination. While that sounds reasonable, most people can no longer justify owning a second vehicle, and that's something you got to think about. If you're paying $33,000 for a RT Charger, you might be able to justify that, or $38,000 for a RT Charger. Why? Because you got a big V8 Hemi, right? 5.7 liter, so you can still get on the street and run with the boys. You can modify it however you choose, but you can also go and pick up the family. It's a 4-door sedan. You can also go to practice. You can also go to work. You can use it as a travel car if you want. You know what I mean? Most people can no longer justify owning a second vehicle as wages have not kept up with inflation. And to have a two-door rear-wheel drive coupe as your only car isn't feasible for the average American. I mean, let's be real here. You know, a two-door Mustang, nothing feasible about that. You know, if you've ever sat in a Mustang, they've got more room than like a Chevy, not nearly as much room as a Challenger, but it's still two doors. You can only do but so much. So it's one of those things like people are not willing to pay $47.55 for the entry-level V8 when they've got the Nissan Z, Toyota Supra, BMW Z4, all those things that's in competition with it. And it's only two doors. There's the weather. Low temps people don't visit dealerships, nor do they entice customers to buy sports cars. So depending on where you live, if you live up north or, you know, in the Midwest or whatever, where it's cold as fuck when it's cold, people aren't buying Mustangs. Like you're not buying a rear-wheel drive two-door Ford as your daily driver. You know what I mean? You can justify buying a Charger as your daily driver. Charger comes in an all-wheel drive platform, the GT or whatever. You can justify that. It's four doors, it's spacious, it's big, it's American, whatever. But when it comes to Ford, like it's a really specific, I mean, let's call it what it is. Some people call it a muscle car. Some people call it, you know, sports car, pony car, whatever. I mean, you really have to buy these cars with specific intentions. Like you don't just go to the dealership and it's like, oh, I want a new, affordable, nice looking, good on gas car. And then the salesman's like, oh, let's check out this Mustang GT or Mustang Dark Horse. Those are specifically bought types of cars. And it's one of those things like nobody's paying those prices to get into that market. Nobody's paying, you know, what are we looking at here? $40,000, $50,000, $45,000, $55,000 for a GT. Or even worse, $70,000 for the Dark Horse. And the only difference between the GT and the Dark Horse, I think, is like 20 horsepower, 15 horsepower. But somehow or another, you're paying almost an extra 15 to 20,000 in some cases. $10 to $15,000 in some cases. So it's just not making sense. Like Ford is suffering from the same thing that took Dodge pretty much out of the game in 2023. That's why Dodge Chargers right now are so damn cheap. You know what I mean? Because they were so damn expensive in 2023 and 2024, nobody could afford them. Therefore, they just sat on the lot and rotted and pretty much rot away, you know? And that's what's going to happen to the Mustang. I mean, 36% drop, 34% drop in the new month. And the worst part about it is that the Mustang Mach-E is outselling your gas-powered Mustang. And it's outselling it in 2025 when it's like, nobody is really buying electric. No, I wouldn't say that, but it's like, it's not as common for people to, you know, have that incentive to buy an electric car now as it was 2 years ago when we had a different administration in the office, you know? So it's like to see the Mustang Mach-E, the electric joint outselling your gas-powered, you know, creme de la creme, that says something, man. But long story short, it's all about price, man. Price, price, price. Ford, Chevy, Dodge, you're all making the same mistakes. All making the same mistakes. Come down off of the damn price. I understand inflation's through the roof, but, you know, if inflation and the average person's salary is not equally rising and matching one another, how can you expect to charge an extra $15,000 for a car that, you know, is a two-door all-wheel drive pony car? It just doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? It does not work that way. It's just not going to work that way. And Ford Mustangs are going to sit on this lot and collect dust just like the Charger and the Challenger did in 2023. But as always, guys, like, subscribe, comment. It seems like it's not just Dodge, but now it's Ford as well. Just got to lower the price. That's all you got to do. Lower the price. Just make it affordable. Peace.